Hey there, welcome to this special explainer. You know, the world of adults can seem so complicated, full of jargon and endless noise. But today, I'm going to walk you through how the world really works. We're going to look at the hidden operating system that most adults never bothered to explain, but that you, honestly, can understand right now. Today, we're diving into tech stocks and a little secret I like to call the elastic band.
So just recently, the global stock market looked like it had caught a really terrible cold. I mean, the shiny, famous technology stocks were being sold off heavily, and the whole market was looking pretty miserable. But then, literally just a day later, something shifted. Over in Europe, the companies that make the absolute most advanced computer chips in the world suddenly stopped falling. They stabilized. The whole market just kind of breathed this massive sigh of relief. So you've got to wonder, why did the world's biggest tech companies suddenly panic and then, just as quickly, bounce right back? Well, let's look at this through a lens you already understand perfectly.
Believe it or not, the stock market perfectly mirrors the internet. Think of these massive tech and AI companies as the absolute top-tier influencers on your social feed. For the longest time, everyone was giving them likes, throwing money at them, and just hyping them up to the sky. But you know how it is, when an influencer is at the very top for too long, what happens? People start looking for drama. Investors started asking, wait, are they really making that much money? Are they going to be irrelevant next month? And this led to a massive wave of unfollowing, or what the financial world calls a massive sell-off, where big investors just yank their money out. The biggest influencer in all this drama was actually a European company called ASML. They build these god-tier machines that actually make computer chips. They got canceled the hardest for a few days. But then everyone took a breath and realized a really simple truth. Without ASML's machines, we literally have no smartphones, no video games, no AI, nothing. So just as quickly, the fans quietly resubscribed and started paying them again. The drama passed and the market bounced back.
Now, in the global economy, absolutely nobody is an isolated island. It creates this giant economic butterfly effect. Let me break it down into 3 steps. Step 1, Europe's ASML stops falling. That acts like this giant confidence pump for the entire tech world. Step 2, that energy travels straight over to Taiwan. Taiwan is the beating heart of global semiconductors, and their absolute giant TSMC is actually the biggest buyer of ASML's machines. So when Europe stabilizes, Taiwan gets this massive energy boost, which stabilizes their own market. And then step 3, global capital. When the big money all around the world sees that the tech kings aren't dead after all that cash that was hiding out in safe places rushes back into the US and Asian markets like players rushing toward a free loot box. It basically proved the AI wave isn't over. We were just taking a brief halftime break.
Okay, so here is the crucial takeaway. It's a concept that every master investor knows, but very few talk about simply. It's an economic principle called mean reversion. In Chinese, we call it jin zhi hui gui. I want you to picture this as a super strong elastic band. The center point of this band? That's a company's true, reasonable value. Understanding this is literally the core secret of the financial world.
Imagine you're actually holding that elastic band in your hands. When the market is totally overhyped and everyone is acting crazy about tech stocks, that band gets pulled incredibly high. The prices just explode upward. But if you pull an elastic band too tight, your hand gets tired, right? And eventually, snap. It violently snaps back in the opposite direction. That right there is a market crash. During the crash, people panic and pull the band way too far down. But here is the secret. As long as the company actually makes something valuable that the world genuinely needs, that elastic band will eventually, automatically, return to its most comfortable, reasonable center point. So that sudden bounce back we saw in Europe, yeah, that was just the elastic band snapping back from being pulled way too far down by panic.
To really see how the rest of the world reacted to this snap of the elastic band, I want to take you somewhere secret. Just imagine a hidden, rainy Parisian cafe. Outside, the rain is washing the cobblestones. Inside, the lights are this warm amber color. There's vintage jazz playing on a record player, and it smells like rich coffee and old leather. Around a massive walnut table, the nations of the world have gathered to secretly react to this tech bounce back.
And to make it really easy to picture, let's imagine them as different breeds of dogs, each with their own unique personality and strategy. First up, we have the United States, appearing as a very confident golden retriever in a tailored suit. He slams a heavy tech report right on the table, demanding expansion and loudly reminding everyone that he sets the rules of the game. To him, AI is his domain, and the money just needs to keep flowing. Sitting quietly in the shadows across from him is China, a massive, deep-eyed Tibetan Mastiff, just swirling a glass of red wine, totally unbothered by a single day's bounce back. He's patiently waiting because he knows that long-term supply chain dominance isn't decided overnight. And then there's Japan, a Shiba Inu with thick-rimmed glasses. He hasn't even looked up once. He's obsessively using a ruler to draw charts, entirely focused on making semiconductor materials with absolute, millimeter-perfect precision, totally ignoring the market noise.
As we continue looking around the cafe, we see the United Kingdom, a bulldog in a trench coat, calmly observing the room with this wry little smile while sipping Earl Grey tea. He's perfectly content to just stay out of the drama. Beside him is Germany, a German shepherd wearing engineer's headphones, typing furiously on a tablet. For Germany, human emotions are just illogical. They only care about the cold, hard automation data and the rational supply chain numbers that actually cause the market to stabilize. And over by the window, that's France, a French bulldog in a beret. Staring out at the rain, he finds all this aggressive talk of money a bit vulgar, honestly. But he admits that the little red numbers, showing the market going back up, possess a certain poetic, delicate beauty on a gray day.
Finally, we reach the rest of the table. India and Vietnam, represented by a Desi dog and a Ridgeback, are practically vibrating with excitement. With the European tech giants back on their feet, they are so eager to roll up their sleeves and work overtime on new software and manufacturing orders. But right in the absolute center of the table sits Taiwan, an observant mixed breed. He wears no fancy clothes, just a sharp, warm gaze. He sips his milk tea, fully aware of the room's dynamic. He knows the US wants control, China wants to overtake, and Europe provides the machines. But he also knows he silently holds the key to the actual chips they all need. His strategy is brilliant in its simplicity. Let the superpowers argue while he stays low-key, keeps the factories running, and quietly profits from the endless orders.
And all of this brings us to a very important piece of insider wisdom I want to pass on to you. When you see the financial news screaming on television that the world is ending or that a stock is going to the moon, remember that it's mostly just drama meant to distract you. The ultimate rule, built from decades of real-world experience, is simply this. Stay calm when the market is hot and stay clear-headed when it panics. Do not get fooled by the collective unfollowing or the sudden hype.
Now, I want you to be empowered with this knowledge. You don't need to go open a stock account today or anything crazy like that. Instead, I've got 2 practical exercises you can start right now to build your own superpowers. First, build a tech watch list on your phone. Start following companies like ASML, TSMC, and NVIDIA, just like you would follow your favorite streamers. Ignore their daily stock prices completely. Instead, learn their personalities, learn what they build, and figure out their real role in the world. Second, practice elastic band journaling. Next time a new pair of sneakers, a blind box toy, or even a trendy drink suddenly goes wildly viral and the price skyrockets, or when something gets totally canceled, write down the date. Check back on it in exactly 3 months. I guarantee you will almost certainly see it has quietly returned to a normal, reasonable price. You'll literally be watching mean reversion happen in real life. The world of adults is completely full of numbers, games, and endless drama. But if you keep your curiosity sharp and understand these basic rules, you're always going to be able to see right through the fog. So now that you can see the elastic band pulling the world together, what will you predict next? I trust you with these secrets. Keep observing, keep asking questions. Well, my coffee's completely finished, so I'm going to head off and get dinner ready for us now. Until next time on The Explainer, stay curious.